So Lawrence van den Acker, Chief Design Officer at Renault Group, popped into Car Design Dialogues to speak to me about the new corporate strategy dubbed Future Ready, unveiled by CEO Francois Provost in March. We spoke about designing with emotion, why the future for EVs is in small cars, and how China is both a challenge and a possible solution to the headwinds the industry faces. But I started by asking Lawrence what the new strategy meant for design.
The goal is to make a great second generation, so the Future Ready is based on growth. As many products will come out as we have done with Renaulution. It's also based on technology and excellence, because we've built a foundation, now we can build on this, and then obviously we want to grow the team and do it with the people that are there. And so it's in many ways it's going to be the accumulation of Renaulution in its second 2.0.
And I think this is what's really been really interesting to watch from the outside point of view is the fact that you find these brands that are actually really finding their feet. Alpine, Dacia in particular, I think is a really interesting proposition now. What is it going to mean going forward in terms of the role of design within this 2.0, Renaulution 2.0?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're quite happy to have only 3 brands, if I can say so. 3 children. You know, the more children you have, the more mouth you have to feed. You know, so for us, and the lineup is pretty clear. Entry brand Dacia, popular brand Renault, Alpine for technology, premium, sportiness. So it's a really good staircase of brands. And now, obviously, we're running. Now we need to keep on running. But I think we have the things in place. We have a very, very good team. Team hasn't changed much. The world has changed, if anything. And so with a new CEO, who is very known in what's happening in China, where a lot of the competition comes from. He's very familiar with all the technologies because he came from a purchasing background. So I think we have the assets in place to make hopefully a successful next generation.
And do you think that, I mean, there are obviously going to be trade-offs, you're going to have to move fast, there have to be efficiencies on some level. So what are the trade-offs, what are the opportunities for design? Yeah,
it's an interesting question because obviously in design we're used to trade-offs. I mean, there's never been a time, I have friends who work at Rolls-Royce who complain, So there's nothing new about constraints or trade-offs. But what I do think is that, to be honest, I think this is kind of a golden age for design. If I was asked the question, when was a golden age for design? I would say the 50s and the 60s, because car design was art, merely, sculpture and beauty. And now I think it's a golden age because, frankly, look at a Twingo, 20,000 euros, done in 2 years, fantastic package, 18-inch wheels, full electric. Look at Renault 5, look at some of these cars that are done with relatively humble means, and yet from a design perspective, they are a very high level. So I think you can actually have all of the fun and none of the guilt at the moment, Well,
that's a very heady cocktail. I think one thing you've been quite successful at is this idea of re-injecting a bit of emotion design. We see that with the 5 and the 4, the Twingo itself. I think this is probably, from my perspective, what's been missing. This thing that really pulls on the heartstrings.
Yeah, I agree with you because I felt, in terms of EVs, there's a lot of cars that you can respect. There's very few cars that you can love,
Yes.
And so I think if you look at an R5, people buy it despite the fact that it's electric. A Twingo you could fall in love with and buy and then realize it's electric. And for a very long time, the reasons for buying electric were purely rational or, how can I say, emotional to a certain degree or ideological.
But very rational, I think. Like almost hierarchical.
Well,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
So it's nice that now you can have it both.
In terms of the sort of the boundary between design leadership and industrial constraint, I know we're all working within these these parameters that probably are a bit tighter than we're used to, wish them to be. But maybe in that context, maybe sort of unpack that for me a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot. If I take the example of Dacia, where you have a lot of car for the money, and from a design perspective, it's really quite great what the team is being able to pull off. But what has changed, I think, that the walls have come down between design, between product planning,
Right.
between design and engineering. I remember when I came into design when I was a young kid, the enemy was engineering, you know?
Yes.
Because they would give us an impossible package with small wheels and we had to dress the humpback. you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Now I think design has established its place at the table. Many of my colleagues are reporting directly to the CEO. I don't have to prove why design is important because it's 50% of the purchase reason. So the fact that design needs the goods and needs the good package, needs the proportions, needs the tech is a given. This has made our lives to a certain degree much easier. The pressure is still on for making the car at a good cost, you know.
Yes.
And this is where, in a funny way, China is a menace, but it's also part of the solution. If I give the example of the Twingo, for example, we managed to develop the car in 2 years, thanks to the connections that we have in China, the fact that we have an advanced engineering center in China that we could benefit the ecosystem there. So to a certain degree, our Chinese competitors are going to, put the fire under us. But on the other side, we'll, as far as we can learn quickly from them, they could help us actually to survive as well.
Lawrence, I think one of the things that we've been crying out for is for Europe to get good at small cars again at an affordable cost. Now, I do think this could be the secret to success and longevity of some of our established OEMs.
Yeah, I agree with you because the point of EVs and the sustainability issues, we need to make it popular, and that means it needs to become affordable enough that it can become a popular, affordable car. I mean, the world doesn't need many more big SUVs that are EVs that with 100 kilowatts, and weigh 2 tons. What the world needs is small electric cars that anybody and everybody can drive. And we need to make it in a way that it's comparable, that the pricing is such that whether you decide to buy an internal combustion engine or a hybrid or an EV, there is no difference in price. And I'm not saying we're there yet, but we see that we're going to be there in a few years.
But I think this is probably
a game changer.
I mean, I think that is the game changer, and that is going to ensure a kind of a sustainable future, and that's what we're after, really.
And it's just to start with EVs, to be honest, because then it's decarbonization, and then it's a whole new ballgame.
I wish we had another half an hour to talk. But Lawrence, thank you so much for sharing some thoughts. Very, very, very pleasurable to see you as per usual. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James.